Professional cycling is a sport where speed, precision, and risk exist together. Even the most talented riders can experience sudden setbacks. Recently, Spanish cyclist Juan Ayuso suffered a crash during the prestigious race Paris-Nice, forcing him to abandon the competition despite showing strong form earlier in the season. This video examines the scientific side of the incident, including the causes of the crash, the types of injuries cyclists often face, and the biomechanical and physiological processes involved in recovery. Understanding these factors helps explain how elite athletes return from injury and regain top performance. What happened to Juan Ayuso during the race? Juan Ayuso crashed during a rainy stage of the race Paris-Nice while riding near the front of the peloton. Wet roads significantly reduce tire grip, and in high-speed professional races even a slight loss of traction can lead to a crash. The incident forced him to abandon the race despite having been in a strong competitive position. Why are crashes more likely in rainy racing conditions? Rain dramatically changes the physics of cycling. When water covers the road surface, the friction between the tire and asphalt decreases. This means that riders must lean less aggressively into corners and brake more carefully. In a dense peloton traveling at high speed, a single slip can cause multiple riders to fall because they have very little space to react. How does cornering affect the stability of a racing cyclist? When cyclists enter a corner, they lean their bikes to balance the outward force created by speed. The faster the rider moves and the tighter the turn, the greater the lean angle required. On wet roads, the safe lean angle becomes smaller because the tires cannot grip the road as effectively. If the rider leans too far, the wheels may slide sideways, causing a fall. What kinds of injuries are common in professional cycling crashes? Cyclists often suffer injuries to the shoulder, hip, or soft tissues during crashes. A collarbone fracture is particularly common because riders instinctively extend their arms to break the fall. Bruises, muscle strains, and abrasions are also frequent. Even when bones are not broken, deep muscle impacts can temporarily reduce strength and coordination. Why is the hip area particularly important for cyclists? The hip joint is the central power generator in cycling. The gluteal muscles and hamstrings drive the downward phase of the pedal stroke. If a crash causes bruising or inflammation around the hip, the rider may struggle to produce the explosive force needed for climbing or sprinting. Even a small limitation in hip movement can significantly reduce performance. How can an injury affect pedaling efficiency? Elite cyclists produce power through a highly coordinated pedal stroke that distributes force smoothly throughout the rotation of the crank. Pain or muscle imbalance can disrupt this coordination. The injured rider may unconsciously shift more work to the uninjured side, creating asymmetry that reduces total power output and efficiency. Why is muscular symmetry important in professional cycling? Top riders usually maintain nearly perfect balance between the left and right legs. When injury disrupts this balance, one leg may generate more force than the other. This imbalance reduces overall efficiency and can increase the risk of further injury because the body compensates with different muscles. How does the body begin recovering after a crash? The recovery process begins with inflammation. Blood flow increases to the injured area, bringing immune cells that remove damaged tissue. This stage may involve swelling and pain, but it is essential for initiating healing. What happens during the tissue repair stage of recovery? During the repair phase, the body begins rebuilding damaged structures. Muscle cells regenerate, connective tissue forms new collagen fibers, and bones produce new tissue if a fracture has occurred. This process gradually restores structural strength and stability. How do athletes regain functional performance after healing? Once the injured tissues begin to recover, athletes move into a functional rebuilding phase. During this stage, they gradually return to training while restoring strength, coordination, and flexibility. Sports physiologists often use controlled exercises and specialized equipment to monitor progress. How can injury influence aerobic capacity in cyclists? Professional cyclists rely heavily on aerobic performance, measured partly by maximum oxygen consumption. Even a short break from training can temporarily reduce aerobic capacity. However, elite athletes regain fitness faster than most people because their cardiovascular systems are highly developed. What role does biomechanics play during rehabilitation? Biomechanics helps identify changes in posture, pedaling technique, and joint movement caused by injury. Coaches and physiologists analyze pedal force distribution, hip angles, and muscle activation patterns. These measurements allow them to correct small inefficiencies that could otherwise limit performance. Why might bike adjustments be necessary after an injury? After a crash or during recovery, the rider's body mechanics may temporarily change. Small adjustments to saddle height, saddle position, or cleat alignment can reduce stress on injured areas and help the rider pedal more comfortably while rebuilding strength. How do professional teams monitor a rider's recovery? Modern cycling teams rely on advanced technology such as power meters, motion analysis systems, and physiological testing. These tools measure performance indicators including power output, cadence efficiency, and cardiovascular response. The data helps medical staff determine when the rider is ready to increase training intensity. What psychological challenges can follow a crash? Crashes can affect confidence as well as physical health. Riders may become more cautious in corners or hesitate during high-speed descents. Over time, controlled training and race experience help restore confidence and allow the rider to return to normal competitive behavior. What factors determine how quickly a cyclist returns to racing? The severity of the injury is the most important factor. Minor bruises may allow a rider to resume training within days, while fractures or ligament damage can require weeks of rehabilitation. Proper medical evaluation ensures that the athlete returns only when the body is ready for the intense demands of professional racing. Finally, the setback experienced by Juan Ayuso illustrates how fragile success can be in professional cycling. High speeds, complex race dynamics, and unpredictable weather conditions combine to create constant risk. Yet the science of sports medicine offers powerful tools for recovery. Through careful rehabilitation, biomechanical analysis, and progressive training, elite cyclists can restore their power, endurance, and confidence after injury. The path from pain back to peak performance is demanding, but with discipline and expert support, many athletes return stronger than before. If you found this analysis helpful, remember to share the video, like it, and subscribe to the channel for more educational insights into professional sports and the science behind elite performance.